At my sentencing hearing, it got worse. Okay, I'm just saying, I just want to make the statement. Okay, the appellate court covered it up in the 7th Circuit, 6th Circuit, and that's the collusion that goes on. Of the buddy system, it's like members of Congress who want to be reelected. These guys are appointed for life. There's nothing that fellow judge can do but still continue to accept bribes, and he still is accepting bribes. Marvin Aspen is still a criminal, and he's still covering up crimes that were committed many years before that, because that's part of the buddy system. The need is to have legislation that changes the law that says fellow judges cannot just get away with this tradition of independence. They have to be scrutinized in virtually everything. We need to have some kind of a system that scrutinizes when they have conflicts of interest.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you again for talking up. Yes, sir. And then I'll go here.
How much concern is there in Washington about the election votes being tabulated by a Spanish company run by
Soros is a founding part of our company.
I mean, is it horrifying?
You see,
Go ahead.
when he says a Spanish company, you mean they send it to Europe?
A Spanish company.
Okay, so we send it to Europe. We send it to Madrid. We send it to Madrid.
That's where they're going to be tabulated.
In Madrid.
Yes.
Not Barcelona, Madrid.
Wherever. It's a socialist-run company in Spain that's going to determine the election. Again, all I will say is
the oversight.
Have heard of this issue. I would. Here's my concern for all of us: Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Liberals, Conservatives. My concern for the next 6 months is that this country has a good, vibrant, important, issue-oriented election, and that this country does what's right, and that respectfully we beat this president, and that respectfully we don't put Nancy Pelosi back in charge of the House. And my focus is only going to be on the issues debate to get that. And I would, wherever you are on the political spectrum, I'd advise everybody to be focused on the issues you care about and not get distracted with other issues. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no, I was just going to mention that issue that the gentleman was talking about, Scytl, S-C-Y-T-L, in case anyone wants to look it up on the internet. But the main thing is, don't get discouraged. I mean, because from what I read into it, I would never discourage people from getting out there and voting, because if it's a landslide in a certain direction, which a lot of the forecasters are calling for, even if there are a few voting irregularities, that really should make a big change, a big difference.
But I'm not. The old saying is the people that count the votes decide, not the people that cast the votes.
I'm more concerned about voter fraud here in other cities around the country, which is something I wish we as a country focused more on. I'm more concerned about the fact that I think, call me, I won't say that, I just really think we should have something like this to vote. I don't know why we don't do that. It's federal law. I just wish we enforced it. That sort of thing, I think, are the kinds of things we should be focused on. But again, I know I go a mile a minute. We all do. If you want to get rid of someone like me, or you support someone like me, just work hard this year to do it. You got 6 months. My focus would be on working as hard as you can for the people you believe in, because this is a really important election. Really important. Yes, sir.
Any updates on Fast and Furious?
Yeah. I was hoping you wouldn't ask.
Don't take anything personal, but just to let the Schaumburg people know. Every second Saturday in the morning, there's coffee with the council. That's what we're going through now. That's where you can voice your complaints to the trustees there, and whatever you want to do.
Set it up. Yeah, would love to. Thanks. Thank you.
Remember this. A good friend of mine told me, why not play with the pigs and roll in the mud? You're going to only get dirty and the pigs are going to like it. Always take the high road.
Get out of there! Where was I?
Fast and Furious.
Oh, Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious, then I'll go here. To me, it's pretty clear. We have a serious issue in which I believe our government did things that were wrong, egregious, and might have broken laws, and that needs to be looked at. I don't care if this were a Republican or a Democratic president. We had our government force licensed arm dealers in this country to sell thousands of weapons to the drug cartel down in Mexico, and then we purposely stopped watching where those guns went, resulting in hundreds of deaths and resulting in the death of an American security agent. I don't know. That seems like a pretty big deal that ought to be looked into. So, Congress began to look into it. And Eric Holder and his Justice Department have basically done everything they can do not to cooperate, leaving us in Congress with no choice, I think, but to take the next step, regrettably, and to issue him a contempt citation, to force him to cooperate, just to see what they knew, when they knew it, how this happened. And my hope is that that will happen. But it's nothing I can make happen. But it's a serious issue that I really hope gets looked into. Yes, sir. Oh, wait, I promised here.
Okay, so when does the Republican Ryan budget get balanced? And what will the debt be by the time it's balanced?
And again, let's back up. In fairness to Paul Ryan, and I'll answer your question. You got three groups of people in Washington. We're $16 trillion in debt, and Medicare is going to be gone in 10 years unless we do something. Every Republican and Democrat in Washington knows that. I had a meeting on Friday with a businessman who had a meeting earlier that day with a Democrat senator from Illinois, I won't give you his name, who privately, this Democrat senator from Illinois, I won't give you his name, privately told this businessman,
Okay.
oh my God, we have 10,000 baby boomers retiring a day. Medicare is insolvent. He said that privately to this businessman. They don't say that publicly. So we all know it. You know, the dirty secret is every Republican and Democrat in D.C. knows it. So we all know this. What do you have? Well, you have the Senate, the Democrat Senate. They don't even put forth a budget for 3.5 years. So in my mind, they don't count. They should never be paid. You have a president. Country's broke, Medicare's broke. The president, in just an amazing display of leadership, gives us a budget that never, ever, 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 ever balances. Ever! And doesn't even talk about Medicare. Now that's amazing leadership. So along comes the third player in Washington, Paul Ryan and these House Republicans. And we put forth a budget that balances in 28 years. And I almost didn't vote for it because I think that's ridiculous. And by the way, you know, I voted for a conservative budget that balances in 9 years. So yes, the Ryan budget balances in 28 years. That's way too long for most of this country. But before you just want to hit Paul Ryan and all of us over the head, understand what else we're dealing with. This Senate, the President, they don't even deal with the issue. I'm not condoning 28 years. But in full disclosure, the Ryan budget, we do say, okay, here's Medicare. Oh, I've been told as a politician, I can never touch Medicare. You're not old enough. Because the seniors are going to go after me. I've been told But even the Republicans have enough courage to say, oh, I can't do that, not this year, I can't play politics. We have to reform Medicare. So we put forth a reform. So give the Republicans some credit, a little bit. It's not enough for you and I, but a little bit.
To pass the budget in the House, you need a simple majority. And can a filibuster stop it from passing?
Not in the House.
Excuse me, I asked him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
No, we can pass our budget, which we did, out of the House.
With a simple majority?
Yeah.
And you do that in the Senate. And will the Senate Republicans filibuster? Dianne McConnell said, a week or two after Obama was elected, we're going to do everything to hurt this president so he doesn't get reelected, i.e. stop any legislation that would help
But
him.
you know what? I'm going to give you this answer. And
Now, he might know because he knows the Constitution.
No, well, the filibuster came later. John, correct me if you want. I believe a budget can be passed without a filibuster.
Simple majority.
A simple
Simple
majority
majority? Okay.
in each house can pass a budget.
Okay. But if you have a filibuster and the vote never comes up,
No, I believe that a filibuster can't stop a vote for a budget. Now, I'm going to find that out for sure for you. I'm about 95% sure of that.
because sometimes they talk about the 60, if you have 60
Yes.
senators, a supermajority and all that other
There
stuff.
are certain pieces of legislation that a filibuster can stop.
Right.
I do not believe a basic budget is one of those, but I'll find that out for you.
Cloture vote requires 3/5, which is 60 senators.
Say that again?
Pardon?
Say that again?
A cloture vote, to close debate on an issue,
So-
requires 3/5 majority, which is 60 senators.
So they can keep debating it then forever ad infinitum, which McConnell kind of
On a
wants.
on a budgetary issue, on that,
We're not sure.
Well, I'll find that out. But
Yeah.
even let's say that the Republicans could even stop a budget from coming up for a vote. I can almost guarantee they'd never do that because they want that vote. See, the reason the Senate hasn't put forth a vote, and Harry Reid privately has been pretty clear about this, he wants to protect his Democrat members. They got a lot of them up for re-election this year. Nothing prevents Harry Reid and the majority from proposing a budget. Even in your scenario, if the Republicans could stop a vote on it, the Democrats have never even proposed one. They just don't want to be on record as having to deal with some of these issues. I don't think the Republicans can stop a vote on it. But the important point is, the Democrats in 3 years haven't even proposed one. But you were saying something before that. So was I?
No.
Okay.
It was the thing with McConnell. His whole,
Yeah.
everything he wants to do is stop Obama getting reelected, i.e. that causes gridlock. Everything if it's today's Tuesday, he's going to say, no, it's Thursday.
And you do have that unique wrinkle in the Senate where a filibuster, and did Harry Reid come out a day or two ago and I think I saw that he wants to get rid of the filibuster? I don't know. But you're right, you do have that wrinkle in the Senate that can kind of mix things up a little bit.
I think they want to get rid of the filibuster when the senator from Vermont, Barry Sanders, I think Barry Sanders is a football player. The independent.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, yes. He was the last filibuster.
But here's the important point politically. You may totally disagree with what Republicans are doing in their budget. The Senate hasn't even proposed one in 3 years. Not even talking about getting to a vote. And truthfully, what happens is when you put forth a budget, it's really just sort of a policy statement of where you stand. Because what's going to happen is, yeah. And then we're going to have to come together, and probably what's going to happen is we're going to fund the government again for a few months at a time or a year, which goes back to no budget law, no pay. Yeah.
I think a lot of Americans have trouble positioning and understanding what kind of financial trouble we're in this country. So if we were to characterize from a family budget perspective, how much trouble we're in, because as I think about it from that perspective, it's so bad that if I was a person in that kind of financial trouble, I wouldn't know how to get out of it.
My favorite question. Because, and I live this do my best to get by and pay bills